The following video is for educational purposes only and is not intended to diagnose or prescribe. Always speak to your personal regulated healthcare practitioner before starting any new supplements or products to make sure that it is safe and right for you. You might have heard that it's important to exercise if you're on your fertility journey or in general, just for good health, but I'm going to break down exactly why and where that recommendation actually comes from. So it's important to move your body because truthfully, movement is one of the 4 foundational pillars of health. And we really want to make sure we're working on those 4 fundamental pillars of health when we're trying to get pregnant. So what that looks like for me is movement, mindfulness, sleep, and nutrition. So focusing in on movement, what we're getting benefit from is hormone equilibrium. If your insulin is off, for example, that can be impacting your fertility journey. It can impact egg quality, it can impact placental health, it can turn off ovulation, increase miscarriage risk, and then on top of that, put you at a higher risk of diabetes, put you at a higher risk of cardiovascular disease. So insulin becomes a really important hormone when we're actually talking about fertility, but also when we're just, looking at your health in general. So movement is one of the most powerful tools we actually have for insulin resistance. Research shows that walking for just 20 to 30 minutes a few times a week actually was just as powerful as medication to reduce insulin resistance. So if we couple movement with nutrition, with supplementation and or pharmaceuticals, think about what your body can do. Reducing insulin resistance, like I mentioned, is going to improve egg quality, it's going to decrease your miscarriage risk, and it's going to hopefully, if your insulin is turning off your ovulation, get your body ovulating all on its own. It also helps from a mental emotional standpoint. So we know now, or you might know now, that the fertility journey is not an easy one. It's lonely, it is super difficult, regardless of where you're at. If you're only a couple months in, that doesn't discriminate between someone who has been at this for a couple of years. Hard can be hard regardless of where you're at. And movement is one of the most powerful things you have from a mental emotional standpoint. That's super easy and it's free. So getting outside for a walk, even if it's just for 15-20 minutes, is going to be so helpful for you to just boost endorphins, get you feeling good, get you out of that funk, shake out all that negative energy, especially if you're early on in your cycle, if you're like you just found out that you aren't successful, you got your period. Your body wants you to slow down in those phases of menstruation. So getting out, moving your body just through walking versus doing any more strenuous exercise can be so therapeutic. So we want to use movement as a tool. We don't want to use movement as a punishment. If you like to exercise, if you are someone who already has a fairly rigorous exercise routine, great, keep it up. We want you to exercise also when you're successful and throughout pregnancy to help reduce risk of gestational diabetes, to help reduce risk of preeclampsia. So it's very important we're establishing an exercise routine actually prior to getting pregnant so that you can continue to move your body throughout pregnancy as well. Hopefully that's helpful for you. So remember, we want to set obtainable goals. So if you're someone who doesn't exercise, who really has quite a sedentary day through work, and then you go home and you don't really move your body all that much, start low and go slow. If you set goals that you aren't going to be able to achieve, the week is going to end and you're going to look back and go, well, didn't do that, I failed, what's the point? And you stop trying. If you set goals that you can actually work towards and achieve, that success is going to motivate you to move forward. So if you're starting from nothing, let's say you go for 2 15 to 20 minute walks a week. Once you get that into your routine, you pick a time of day that's actually possible for you to make that happen and a time of day that you have the energy. So if you know when you get home from work, it is just like the last thing you want to do, don't plan to do your walk when you get home from work. Plan to do it before. Plan to do it on your lunch break. Plan to do it on the weekend. Whatever is actually going to be best for you to follow through on the goals that you set. So set obtainable goals first and foremost and track your progress. As you see that you're maybe less winded, you're feeling better, you're going longer, you're actually craving your walk, it's going to be a heck of a lot easier for you to get movement into your life. So I hope this video was helpful to show you why we want to have movement in our daily lives when we're going through our fertility journey. And remember, you can like and you can subscribe to this video for further fertility content.